Hey everyone, this is PrinceWatercress, and welcome to a brand new Let's Play. This time around, it is Blood Omen, Legacy of Kain, for the Sony PlayStation 1. I caught Nufi Bonga's Let's Play of this quite some time ago. I knew this game existed, but I didn't really know much about it when I first saw this Let's Play. And after watching the game in action, it looked like something that was rather fun. And here we are in the main menu with no music. There's nothing going on whatsoever. Options I will cover shortly. And preview is a trailer for another game by Crystal Dynamics called Pandemonium, which I'm considering playing sometime. But in the meantime, I might as well go ahead and start the game.
There is a magical operation of maximum importance. The initiation of a new aeon. When it becomes necessary to utter a word, the whole planet must be bathed in blood. Call your dogs! They can feast on your corpses! For fulfilling the circle, Malak of the Sapphire, you are hereby damned. The pleasures of the flesh are no longer yours. You have but one purpose, damned warrior. You will serve us for eternity.
The tavern's closing. Best be on your way, stranger. What? No mug of ale for a weary traveller from distant Corhagen? I can reward you well, for I am of noble blood. I stay open for no man in these dark times. Things come with the night that no sane man would welcome. And so I left, cold of heart and soul, forced to the road and the long, bitter night.
And that is pretty much the story. The FMV that we saw, it will be explained to us rather shortly. For now, we are in a tavern. We are a nobleman known as Kain. And we are currently on a journey. Unfortunately, the tavern is of no respite to us. And so, we have no choice but to leave. We do have some controls though. We can move around with the control pad, the D-pad in 8 directions. Square lets you swing the sword. L1 lets you zoom in and out. L2 lets you check out a map of your current surroundings. You can leave the map with X. And that is pretty much it for now. We will learn other buttons and their functions in the time to come. For now, let's just go to the south to exit the tavern.
That's in.
And once we leave the tavern, we are beset by assassins.
End it. Now.
And we die in a few hits.
They, Victus, suffering to the conquered. Ironic that now I was the one suffering. Not anything as pedestrian as physical pain, rather the cruel jab of impotent anger. The hunger for revenge. I didn't care if I was in heaven or hell. All I wanted was to kill my assassins. Sometimes you get what you wish for. The necromancer Mortanius offered me a chance for vengeance, and like a fool, I jumped at his offer without considering the cost. Nothing is free, not even revenge.
You will have the blood you hunger for.
I awoke to the pain of a new existence, in a dank womb of darkness and decay.
And we are now a vampire. We have been resurrected by the necromancer Mortanius, who is voiced by the late great Tony J. And we now have a heads-up display on the right side of the screen. The little vial is our blood, and that drains slowly because, well, we're a vampire and we're in constant need of nourishment. To the right of that is the current time, which passes every minute or so, I guess. It's definitely not real time. And to the right of that is our magic meter, which we will have to fill up in order to use magic. By walking into this, let me zoom out for a second. If we walk into this switch, we'll open up the path to the next room and get a spell.
The sanctuary spell enables me to travel to my crypt, where the soil of my grave provides me respite. I often resort to this when I am weak and need nourishment.
And to use our spells, let me press select and go to controls here. We need to press triangle when we have a spell equipped. And to equip a spell, I believe... Well, I believe by going through here, we can probably look for a spell or something. No, it's not. It's not pause. It's another button. I believe you use that for other things. Let's see here. I know it's one of the R buttons. Ah, yes. Press R1. You'll be able to equip the Sanctuary spell with the X button. And in case you ever need to go back to the crypt, you can just press X, and you will cast the magic. And now to beat up this guy. So to swing the sword, you press square once you're close enough to the person you want to beat up. And when they are in a daze, after you hit them enough times, you can press circle to suck their blood. This lets you regain energy from your enemies. And by picking this up, we get ourselves a nice little heal spell.
Reputed to have been ripped from the chest of the greatest vampire to have ever existed, Janos Audron, the Heart of Darkness restores vampiric unlife. Life is precious, Janos discovered, as it was torn, throbbing and bleeding from his own body.
And by pressing R2, you can equip a magical item. I'm just going to go back and use Sanctuary for now. Definitely want to keep tabs on what you have. And by stepping on this switch here on the floor, I had to zoom back in to show it off a little better. You can open the doors to the side.
This ancient vial bears with it a dark gift indeed, for with it my life force is increased.
Definitely want to pick up blood vials. A little goes a long way.
These ancient symbols of power contain raw magical energy that increases my own capacity to summon energy for the spawning of spells.
And these small rune pyramids increase your maximum magic. So blood vials for maximum health, rune pyramids for maximum magic. And by pressing this switch in the corner here, we can enter the next room. This purple orb, I believe, gives us some of our magic back.
Within the walls of these chambers I could find respite, and if I so chose, resume my journey when my weariness abated.
If you ever want to save your game, just go up to one of these spires, and the game gives you a chance to save. Let's go ahead and save our game. And I might as well go ahead and save in my practice file. Why not? I believe that's my practice file. Indeed it is. I mean, it's not like I'm going to be needing that practice file anyway. But by using these spires, you can save to your memory card. And now to go further to the north. By the way, the people who were in chains earlier that we saw, you can walk up to them and press circle to suck their blood, but I only do that when absolutely necessary. If you do that to somebody who is chained up, though, they will come back as a ghost if you return to them. And if you...
When rainfall comes, vampires are wise to find shelter from its acidic touch.
As I was saying, if you go back to someone who is now a ghost and you try to suck their blood, you actually get magic from them instead. Anyway, it is now raining, and we do not want to be caught in this. So let us travel further to the south and get some nourishment. And we'll also go into this shrine. Might as well go ahead and check it out. Not like there's much to this, but there is a spire, a save spire to the right, to the east. Won't necessarily need that because I just saved my game. And when with the skeletons, just beat them up. They have green blood, which is poisonous. You do not want to drink poisonous blood. And if the blood vial ever overfills like that from when you suck someone's blood, you're pretty much at max health. Speaking of max health, we can get max health and magic increases here. And I want to beat up this grave digger so I can get him out of my way. And our health has gone up quite a bit. Also, we have approached some spikes. You do not want to walk into the spikes, whatever you do, because that happens, and it hurts. And we have some more people who are chained up, but I am not going to mess with them at the moment. Instead, I want to continue on, walk into this switch to get the spikes out of the way, and hit this switch to get this out of the way. There's another skeleton here, and we are at a dead end, unless we hit certain switches to get the spike pit out of our way. In this case, it's the left and the middle. And if you mess with it any further, it comes back. So don't mess with it any further. You don't always have to suck your enemy's blood. It's a choice, but it's a nice choice to have. And I usually do it.
These curious devices hurl bolts of whirling energy and eviscerate my human enemies by stripping ragged flesh from blood-stained bone.
And you can access this with the R2 button. Is there no way to cancel out of these? I guess not. I guess you're basically forced to choose, so you just have to be careful. And by hitting this switch, we triggered some spike pits. But if we're careful, we can stay out of their way.
Please, help me, kind sir!
And by going through here... we can open this up for a Heart of Darkness. Wonderful. And some more flays. I forgot all about that, to be honest. Also, you do not want the skeletons to run into because they will blow up if you do. There are some rocks here. We will have to come back to them a little later. For now, let us open up these chests for a rune pyramid and another Heart of Darkness. And by going back over here, I believe we will go back to where we started. Indeed, we do. And now that we've gotten ourselves quite a few items, and we've given ourselves a little bit of an advantage here, we might as well go leave the mausoleum.
Hunger and weakness are no bar to vengeance's call. I would find my slayers and send them back whence I came.
And we will find our assassins here. Bit of a slowdown here.
What trickery is this?
And that'll get rid of them. Had to get rid of them one at a time. And
Their sneering faces were forever etched upon my memory. I had crossed death for this moment. My mind was empty save for one thought. I would kill.
had to do this one at a time just to get rid of the slowdown. And I might as well go ahead and just get sustenance out of these guys too, just because I can.
There is no greater release than that from vengeance sated. With my assassins dead, my quest was over.
And yet we're still able to play the game. You'll eventually find out why. Here's a hint. It has something to do with the FMV that we saw early on. Also, when the time of day goes from night to day, you become a little weaker. At night, I was able to defeat these assassins in 3 hits. When daylight comes, I have to do it in 4. And that blue orb just gave me more magic.
"'Tis not over, Kain. These fools were merely the instruments of your murder, not the cause. Look to their masters, look to the pillars, and gain way to the fortress of the mind."
So it looks like we have to do more than just defeat our assassins if we want to get revenge.
The world had changed to my eyes. I had not expected such cruelty from the light. For in the embrace of the sun I could find no comfort. only malice. This would change in time for the worse, along with other things.
And by going up to the flashing triangle near the sign,
This was where the bloody deed of my murder took place.
we find out that we are heading to Zigstrul, or Zegstrul, which is where we were murdered and turned into a vampire. And I'm just going to kill this guy because I can. Even though there's really no point in attacking and feasting on the villagers. And there's also nothing to do in any of these buildings. So I'm just going to leave these buildings alone. And leave everybody here alone. South of the town, we have more assassins. Let us go ahead and absolutely destroy them. And we have some more dialogue.
The necromancer had offered me no warning as to what my resurrection would entail, and yet I must confess in my haste I had not sought one. Was his gift a curse? I would seek the pillars for an answer.
And the pillars that he refers to are the same ones that are in the FMV cutscene that we saw when we started the game. And of course, if we need to go back to the town of Ziegsturl, we can just go back. But we have no reason to go back. And you can press circle on a red triangle if you ever want to get the picture or the voice clip to play again. Anyway, let us soldier on. They Victus indeed. Yeah, we will just follow the path here in order to get more of the story and also meet a new enemy. These purple assassins who will just throw daggers at us at a distance. They can only throw in one of 8 directions. And all you really have to do is just get close to them at an odd angle and you can just beat them up. And eventually suck their blood. Also, do not walk into water because it hurts you. You definitely do not want to walk into the water. Just cross the bridge like any sane person would. And now, by making our way further to the north, we'll be able to enter another area where we can fight some more enemies.
As daylight chases darkness, the vampire's power wanes.
And learn that we do get weaker in the daylight. We also have some guy with a mace who's a little bit stronger, but we can easily beat him up.
The pillars of Nosgoth. Even in life, few sights have moved me such as this. I marvel that such beauty should grace our dying world.
And the pillars of Nosgoth. We need to head to those next. Those are the pillars that we saw in the FMV sequence at the very beginning of the game. And by walking into this, I guess you could say this panel, you can teleport to the pillars themselves. And by walking up to the spirit, you'll trigger another cutscene.
Your madness has shattered our dreams and blinded you.
Keep your distance, or I'll send you back to hell, spirit!
There is nothing left of me to fear, vampire. I'm only a shadow of my former self, Ari, the balance of the Circle of Nine. Even so, I can provide the answers you seek.
I seek only a cure.
There is no cure for death, only release. You must destroy the sorcery that is now poisoning Nosgoth. Only then will you realize peace. The 9 of the Protectors of Hope were sworn to use their powers to preserve our world. Now these pillars have been corrupted by a traitor. My murder at the hands of this beast drove my love Napraptor mad. Now he spreads misery and pain among the Circle, crumbling the very foundation of Nosgoth. You must restore balance. You must right the pillars of Nosgoth.
I care not for the fate of this world.
Then for yourself, Kain. Beware the unspoken.
Napraptor, with his blind act of vengeance, threatened to destroy all of Nosgoth. Each Circle member was bonded to the pillar he served. The pillars reflected the mental state of their servants, and as the minds of the Circle degenerated and descended farther into dementia, the pillars crumbled. To restore them, each member of the Circle had to die, and the artifact that served as their link to the pillar had to be returned. Only when all the pillars were restored did Ariel claim my curse would end. And so, my hunt for Napraptor began.
And we have met Ariel, the god of balance. We must defeat those that are tied to the pillars of Nosgoth if we are to restore this land. And if you walk up to each pillar, you'll find out what each pillar is.
The pillar of the mind. The pillar of dimension. The pillar of conflict. The pillar of nature. The pillar of balance. The pillar of energy. The pillar of time. The pillar of death. The pillar of states.
And with that, we have seen all 9 of the pillars. And we will have to restore all of them if we want to win the game. I might as well go ahead and go to the select screen, the select button screen before I go. You have the world map, which allows you to see the map of the world as where we've been and where we haven't been. We are currently at the Pillars of Nosgoth. We have been at Zeegsturl, and this flashing blue area is the Napraptor's retreat. Apparently, we will have to go over there and defeat Napraptor if we want to make some headway in this game. And the Dark Diary. What does that do? You get to see all the cutscenes that you've seen throughout the game, in case you ever want to replay any of them. Status lets you see what you've done throughout the game. You get to see how many people you've killed, how many people you've sucked blood from, how many people you've mutilated, how many secrets you found in the game, the amount of time you spent playing the game, and your current rank. You start out as a whelp, but that will improve as you go through the game and do things. Load game lets you load a game. Controls lets you see the controls for the 4 face buttons, and also reassign them if need be. Volume lets you set the volume for sound effects and music. If need be. And the credits show the credits of the game, but I don't want to look at those just yet. And exit just lets you exit the menu. And with that, we have a job to do. We need to beat up the... not beat up, but rather kill the people who are tied to the Pillars of Nosgoth in order to restore the pillars and therefore restore the land. And one of these people that we have to kill is Noobtraptor. If we can restore the land, we can get a cure for our vampirism, and we can live again as a human. At least, that's the hope. But that will have to wait until the next video. So join me next time, where we head further into the land and see what all we can do. Until then, this is PrinceWatercress. Take care, stay safe, and thanks for watching!